Hey, what's up, YouTube? Hi, my name is Eddie, and I'm going to give you guys the other part of the workout program that I've written, and this is going to be the upper body workout. Okay, so what we're going to do is, since I have one arm that's a little bit wounded right now, it's a little sore. I'm not going to do the workout with this arm. I'm just going to do it with this arm, and yeah, and I'm gonna let you guys know how to do stuff. I'm gonna give you the pointers. If you have any questions, you're super welcome to either post them directly in the live chat, or if you're watching this afterwards, you're super welcome to just leave your comments, and I will do my best to get back to everybody and answer all the questions. Okay, so let's go. Equipment. What do you need for this? So it would be best if you had a whole bunch of rubber bands, but if you don't, just grab a towel. And it would also be really nice and cool if you had some weights of various sizes. But if you don't have them, you can just hold on to a tin can full of beans or something, or get yourself a bottle of water. Okay, so let's start. So first thing you want to do is you want to warm up. I really like to have a very set routine to warm up because that way I know that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so you want to stand with your feet slightly apart and start head spins. If your neck hurts when you take your head backwards, don't stress it, just go side to side. So we want to do a few movements in every articulation. And so we have neck. Let's go down the shoulders. So you really want to be doing big circles, trying to bring your shoulder blades together behind your back. That's it. Try to not move your thoracic spine. Just be moving your shoulders. Great. Now we're going to go front and back with the chest. So front and back. So you want to pop your chest as open as you can and then close it. So as you can see, my shoulder is staying pretty still as I'm doing this. And it's really my chest that's doing most of the movement. All right, side to side. I love this. It's a cool party trick. And if this is super hard for you, we can do side bend and side bend. Side bend, and you really want to bring it from here. Yeah. You want to open up one side of your torso. You can also add a hand to extend here and extend here. But if, like me, you have some shoulder pain, then you don't want to be you don't want to be lifting this arm too high, so you can just do this. Okay. Hip circles, make them big, make them count. Good. And the other side. I'm really not putting too much into this because it's really just the easiest warm up. Okay, I want you to take a step forward, bend your front knee, and start thrashing your arm around as if it were very limp. Try to let it kind of centrifuge. So what I want you to do is to have your arm so loose that if you just stop spinning, it'll fall. Kind of think about if you were taking a wet t-shirt out of the washing machine and you're just flinging it around. Okay, another side. Try to catch some speed doing this. So you can feel the blood going to your fingertips. Okay, other side. Even if you have shoulder pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that every movement is going to hurt. So it's really important to kind of find out what you can and cannot do. Other side. For example, I can do this fairly without pain, but if I want to do like a push-up or any kind of support, it's impossible. Okay. And now we're going to fling the arms to the side, let them wrap around the body till we get like a soft thud. That's it. And you want to look behind you, add an element of spinal rotation to the whole thing. Good. If you have a hard time keeping up, I either do 5 or 10 of everything. So if you lose count, these were 10. Okay, now I want you to put your arms at the side of your body and just circles with your elbows. Good. It's as if you're standing in front of a window shield and you can't touch it. Nice. Another side. Very good. Great. Okay. Hold on to your fingertips and let's rotate those wrists. So you want to keep your elbows up and rotate to the other side. Good. Now, especially if you're going to be doing push-ups and pulling on stuff, you really want to have your forearm nice and warm. So what I like to do is like this exercise. So you want to think as if you have droplets of water on your hands and you're trying to sort of toss them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I like to do this here, but I'm not going to do it with this arm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a total of 30. Okay, now let's get into the exercises, okay? Go in there, have a look, copy it, send it to a friend. I don't mind. It's free. Just enjoy. And I'm going to be doing the part of it that's called shoulder strength, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to start, I'm going to read out the exercises and then I'm going to show them. So we're going to start with the elevated plank. Okay, and the elevated plank, we're going to do it for 30 seconds. Okay, so what's a plank? A plank is when you hold your body in a line, like a straight line. Actually, you might want to get a better understanding of it if I don't have the super loose shirt on me. So when I'm doing a plank, I want to rotate my pelvis and push my shoulder forward. So we've got 2 movements here. The first one is this. So I want to rotate my pelvis without breaking my legs. That means that I don't want my knees to all of a sudden bend because I am tucking in. No, I want to keep both the tuck and the straight knee. And then the other part of it is that you want to be pushing with the shoulder. Note, it's the shoulder, it's not the elbow. The elbow is not moving, it's just this guy, okay? So this is the plank position. And you can hold it in a variety of ways so as to best suit your current strength. So for example, I'm going to be doing a one-handed plank, okay? And we're going to set the timer for 30 seconds. Going to grab a mat, put it on the floor. All right. So it's 0 minutes, 30 seconds. And what's important? Okay, so I'm going to talk you through it as I do it. So I'm going to go into the position and then start talking. 1, 2, 3, up. And here we go. So when you're doing a plank, you really want to have your knees straight, all right? You want to have your bum, don't let it go up, push it down, and then rotate it inwards. And now this part of your chest, you want it parallel to the floor, but you don't want to be sunken. You want to be high, holding the position. And this is a one-arm plank, so what I really shouldn't be doing is rotating upwards. I want to maintain this position, just like this. Okay, so that was 30 seconds. If that was too little for you, try putting your legs up on something so that you have a little bit more of a difficulty doing it. So in a plank, if you want it to be easier, you need to elevate your arms. If you want it to be harder, you need to elevate your legs. So if I wanted to make this harder, I would put my legs on the sofa and my arms on the floor. And if I wanted to make it easier, I would put my legs on the floor and my arms on the sofa. You got this? Okay, we could do it on the forearm or on the hand itself, whichever suits you better. They're both pretty good. Okay, so the next exercise is bench press. with a dumbbell, but it doesn't really have to be a dumbbell. It can be anything. So it can be this tiny 1.5 kilogram weight, or it can be this fucker who's like, look at this guy. Okay, so that's 9 kilos. Okay, so you do it with whatever you're comfortable doing it. It's better to do it with a weight, I feel, than it is to do it with a whatchamacallit, a rubber band. I don't really like the rubber band for this because you have to start already with so much tension that it's either the band is so hard that you can't really stretch it that much, or it's so nothingy that it can tear. Okay, so the bench press. I'm sorry. We're gonna go for a bench press. Okay, sorry. So the bench press is actually lying down. You want to be the classic bench press. You're on a bench, so your elbow can actually go past the body line. But seeing as most people don't have that kind of press at home, we're going to do it on a mattress. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to put the backside of your shoulder into the mat. Your feet are stepping on the mat, and you want to be pushing upwards. Okay? Just pushing upwards. Nothing more interesting than this. And I'm going to do it with one arm. Okay? So we want to go for 3 sets of 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what I said about the rubber band, I was actually thinking about the military press. I'm sorry, I got them confused. Okay, so what you want to do, if this was super easy for you, you want to hold on to a lot more weight. Okay, for example, I believe I can do it with this weight. Might be hard for me to balance, but it is the weight that I should be doing. 1. Let's do 10 repetitions of this. 1, 2, 3. This is more like it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now notice how I am not giving myself a lot of rest between sets, because being at home, working with light weights, it is kind of difficult to reach a level of resistance that's actually going to be meaningful. So I want to kind of shorten the rest period so I can get a little bit more out of the same exercise. And now I'm going to show you the version with the band. So if you're doing this with a band, you should lie on your back. You should get the band. You should grab it right around the chest line. And you want to be doing this with both hands. Okay, I'm just doing it with one hand because my other one is a little bit hurt right now. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. So just grab, have a little bit of tension on the rubber band when you're starting out. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, a lot of people do it with the wrist at 90 degrees. I'm not a big fan. I would rather keep my wrist at a continuous line. I'm sorry, that was the bench press. And the military press is actually exactly the same thing, except you're standing up and you're pushing up. Okay? So again, I'm going to do this just with one arm, but the exercise is bilateral. That means that both of your arms are working at the same time. And you could do it with a rubber band. I'm not a fan, but if that's what you got, then that's what you got. You do that. And you want to put your arms here exactly like the bench press. You don't want to open too wide, okay? And you don't want to bring your arms too forward or too backwards. You just want to have them slightly in front of the body, and you want to raise them to your ears. Okay, let's go. So 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now, I've been talking about this, but just so you're aware, if your objective is to gain muscle mass, what you want to be doing is you want to be getting pretty close to failure by the end of your repetitions. Okay, so you want to be doing this with a weight that's enough of a challenge that when you hit those last 3 reps, you are already quite exerting yourself. So if you can't do it with 10 reps, you can try 15. And if it doesn't do the trick at 15, you can just grab a heavier weight. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, notice how when I get up here, I'm also kind of rotating. What does that rotation mean? That means that if you see this part of the elbow wants to be pointing backwards, every time I have my arm already at the height of my ear. What does that mean? That I don't want the arm to be bent that way. I want my elbow to be pointing forward. Okay? This is something that has to do with shoulder mechanics that I'm not gonna be explaining that right now, but it is important that you have it in mind that you don't want your elbows pointing sideways at any point in time. Okay, let's do 10 more, and if you need to do 15 or you need to increase the weight, then go for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good. So we've done the military press, we've done the bench press, and now we're going to go for something that's super similar, but it actually is a completely different concept as far as your body is involved, which is the push-up. So a basic push-up really looks a lot like a bench press, except your hands are staying at the same place and it's your body that's coming towards them. Okay, so since I have one arm to do this with, I'm going to do a super easy push-up. I'm going to do it against the wall. So that's the easiest way to do a push-up is to just stand in front of the wall and you let yourself reach the wall and you push back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so what's important when you're doing a push-up, and this is super important, you do not want to have an arc in your back and you don't want your ass to sort of break away from the line. You still want to be in that plank position that you were holding for the very first exercise. You want to keep that going the whole time, okay? So if you're having a hard time here and you're sort of breaking, that means you probably need to be working at a much more elevated surface. Because if you do 10 lousy repetitions of a push-up, you're not going to get neither better nor stronger. You're just going to get better at doing that particular repetition of a very bad push-up. Okay? So, once again with cues, I don't want you opening your elbows too much, and I don't want your hands too far apart. You can do it if it's a little more comfortable, but please don't go overboard. And most important, when you're here, I don't want you to go down and sort of rotate your shoulder forward. I want your shoulders set back. Okay, let's go for another 10. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tuck your tummy. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, it's super hard not to do it with both arms as well because it's like I have the pattern so ingrained in my body of doing a proper push-up It's actually hard to do with one arm. Okay, so if you want to make the push-up a lot harder, all you need to do is you need to lower your hands. So you want to be on the floor with both hands on the floor, and if you're somewhere in an intermediate phase where the wall is too easy for you and the floor is too hard, you just hold on to a surface that's midway or slightly towards your chest or slightly towards your knees and just push up on that surface. You don't necessarily need to be on the floor. Being on the floor is just one variation of a push-up that's not better, nor worse than any other variation. You have to find a variation where you can do 3 sets of 10 repetitions. Let's go again. Okay, so 1, tuck your tummy. 2, tuck your glutes. 3, open your shoulders. 4, good. 5, don't let your elbows flare. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Never let your shoulders roll forward. Okay. Now, let's see what the next exercise is. Okay, so we're done pushing. Like you all know, the bro way to go about upper body workouts is to split them into pulling and pushing movements. So we're done pushing. Okay, we're going to go pull now. So what you want to get is either a rubber band, or once again, you could head for a weight, and I would recommend making it a slightly heavier weight. And what we're going to do is 2 versions of this thing. It's called a row to the weight, which means you're pulling towards your waist. I'm going to ask you to keep your chest open and keep your back straight. So the first way we're going to do this is we're going to do this in a bent over position. So you want to bend over. Don't let your spine curl. You want to keep your back straight, and you want your tush to be going that way. Good. And now you want to step on that cord. Just keep it a little tight. You want to bend your knees and pull to the body line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now, if that doesn't do it for you because, for example, it hurts your back, which isn't the idea, then you can totally do this seated. Okay? So you hold on to the same rubber band. You sit down on your tush. You have your legs forward. You can bend them a little bit. You can put a pillow underneath your bum if you're not flexible enough to hold this position. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you can have your back very, very straight. And you want to grab and pull. And as you are pulling, I want you to push your chest out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just like the other exercises, I want you to be feeling the burn in the last exercise, in the last 3 or 4 repetitions if you're trying to get muscles. Okay, if you're trying to get big hypertrophic muscles, then you want to be working against the resistance that's going to make you struggle in the last 3 or 4 repetitions of a 10 or 15 repetition set. So you can go with 12 or with 10 just to be super classic, and just make sure that the resistance is bad enough that you can finish it, but you feel it. Okay, good. Now let's do this once again with the weight. So again, with the weight, if you got the weight on one arm, you can lean with the other arm against the surface or against your own leg. Okay, so I'm just going to show this option real quick. So I'm going to bend over, I'm going to lean, and I'm going to pull with this arm. So I'm pulling to my chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you notice I'm keeping my back straight the entire time. Okay, now we're going to do a very, very similar exercise. It's called a pull to the face. So what we're targeting here is the rear delt. So I really want this shoulder and elbow to be in line. So we're pulling from here to shoulder height with the arm rotating towards the face. So shoulder height, rotation toward the face. Shoulder height, rotation towards the face. So if I'm bent over, it's going to look like this. Shoulder height with rotation. And don't be tempted to do this. This is going to put a lot of stress on your nerve, on the nerve that is crossing the elbow. So just try to keep the arm a little bit more steady at 90 degrees. Okay? Let's go. Whatever you do, don't do this. Don't let the arm be lower than the actual elbow, because then you're in internal rotation, which is not so healthy for your shoulder joints at this particular movement. Okay, so let's do 10 of those. Pull the face, bent over, lean. Okay, so we're going to go into the position, straighten your back. I want you to hold your tummy tight, brace, and let's pull. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was a little bit too much weight for me. You can see that I didn't control the movement very well. I would have done better with a 5 kilos instead of a 9, which was what I had here. So we're going to do the same now. We're going to do it with the rubber band. I keep using the same rubber band, but the truth is you should adjust the difficulty of the rubber band to the exercise you're doing, either by doubling it, by opening it, or by switching to a rubber band that's more what you need right now for this exercise. So just because you have one rubber band doesn't mean it's right for everything. You always want to have enough resistance to make the exercise meaningful. So we're going to pull 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Now, the last way to do this, if you can't stand being bent over like that, you're uncomfortable being bent over, is the same thing. You sit down. You need to, if you feel this is too much of a forward flexion for you, that's okay. Just grab something to sit on top of. So you have a little bit of elevation beneath your pelvis. You can bend your knees. It's not sacred. And you want to be doing the same thing. So you want to pull to the shoulder and up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, having pulled in 2 different directions, let's see if we have another pulling exercise. Okay, so the perfect thing to be doing right now is to do a bar pull-up. Now, if you have a bar to pull up on, that's when I would incorporate it into the practice. Now, I have a pull-up bar here, but I tried pulling up on one arm. It was a shit show. And I'm not going to be using this arm to pull up because it still hurts. However, what I'm going to give you instead of it is I'm going to give you one exercise that is not in the program, but I think you guys deserve it because it's a really cool exercise. It's called extension. Okay, so we're just gonna do this movement. So we're grabbing onto the rubber band and we're pushing it to the body line and a little bit backwards. So from beneath the shoulder height, So we're not going to go over 90, just from here. Pull to the body and pass it. Now, the best thing is if you have something that's a little higher that you want to be hanging your rubber band from, but also it's okay if the rubber band is the height of your chest or even the height of your armpit. Okay, but don't do it from the belly button down because you're going to get very little for your pull. So you just want to grab and you want to stand in front of the rubber band and just straight elbow push it down. So let's go for 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I want to show you something. So as my arm is passing my body, I'm also slightly turning it. So I bring it to the body line, turn, keep pulling. Okay? Bring it to the body line, turn, keep pulling. So I'm turning my elbows upwards. This is super important. Okay, we're going to do this one with both hands from the front. All right? So you grab and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Once again, you don't want to give yourself too much time to rest. You just want to stay breathing hard, stay feeling the workout. So you don't want to give yourself too much time to rest at home because the resistance to weights that you're able to do at home, usually they're not that great. If I was really like panting and sweating and having a hard time with this, I would take longer breaks. Let's go. And 1, 2, you see that? 3, turn, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't have to do it, but it really adds 9 and 10. Okay, good. Now, if you wanted to sort of jump up and do a pull-up, this would be the moment because we're now finishing the pulling part of our workout. Okay, so the next exercise is something called a Y lift. You know what? I'm gonna be showing this as well in the pull-up bar because it's interesting. I think it'll give you a better understanding what you're trying to do here. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to create the letter Y between your both arms. So you don't want to be standing here in a U and you don't want to open a T. You want a Y. Okay? So what this really is, it's an exercise for your lower trapezius, for this part of your back. And it's super important for good shoulder mechanics. Okay, so I want you to grab on and just pull here. Once again, I'm going to do this one arm only because this one is not there yet. I'm going to show you the version that I do with this one in a second. Okay, so I have the rubber band here. I'm just going to roll it around once or twice. And now I have a little bit of tension here. And I'm going to pull from shoulder height to this angle. And I want the elbow to be pointing backwards all the time. So I'm not going to let the elbow rotate inwards. Elbow has to be rotated outward. And it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Okay. Now we've done this. I can show you the other versions that are actually trying to imitate this version because that's the best one because the pull is coming from above your head. So when you're pulling with your shoulder, you always want to be pulling from something high towards your body. You don't really want to be pulling upwards. It's not great for your shoulder mechanics for reasons that I'm not really going to go into in a lot of detail right now, right here. Okay, so we're going to do 2 other versions of the Y lift. And this one is for my bad shoulder, so you can probably do this even if your shoulder is not super great. So one is the lean over. Lean over. Make sure that your thumb is pointing towards the ceiling and your elbow is rotated as far as it can be rotated outwards. So you're gonna put yourself here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's one way of doing it. And the other way of doing it is you just put your pretty face on the floor, spread them wide until you have that wide. Put your forehead on the floor. Trust me, it helps. And you lift either one arm at a time or both. But now the palms of your hands need to be pointing at the ceiling and your elbows need to be super straight. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so as you can see, this version has a much more limited range of motion, but what you're working in this version is really the hardest part of the range of motion, so you're not losing a lot of the benefit of the exercise. I would still recommend doing the first version if you have that rubber band, if you have that point available, but if you don't, the other two versions are pretty good. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so the next one is called the snow angel. And a snow angel goes like this. This isn't hard, you tell me. Oh, you are so right. Let's make it hard. So the first one is, of course, the same version that you would be doing with a rubber band, just as you would do the Y lift. So you would hold on to the rubber band without a rubber band. So you want to either be bent over, take your arms to the side, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is one way you could do it. If you didn't feel it, you can hold on to some weights. Now, if you felt it mostly in your neck or your upper trapezius, I got news for you. You're not using the right muscle. So what happens when we try to do this movement, but we don't have it very well ingrained, is we tend to lift our shoulder. We sort of do this. So I'm going to lift this shoulder as I should and this one as I shouldn't. Okay, so they go like this. Okay, just doing that, I already have some tension here. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to stand in front of a mirror, and as you're lifting your hands, make sure that your elbows are rotating inwards and that your shoulders are not doing this, are not doing this compensation. What is this compensation? It means that before I go even over 90 degrees, I'm already using my upper trap. Should be relaxed until the very last grade of shoulder flexion. I'm only supposed to be using this muscle from here to here. Okay? Now, second version of doing the snow angel. So you want to lie down on the floor, prone. Once again, you start with your arms at your body side. You want to turn your forehead in, lift your hands, rotate them, and take them forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if this was super easy for you, you can go ahead and grab some weights. If it was super hard for you, you can just slide your hand on the floor, slide it back. You might get dirty palms, but you'll be able to do the exercise a lot easier. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 10 more of these. Okay, so put your head down to one side or in the middle. Let's try one side. Tuck your butt, straighten your knees, lift your tummy from the floor, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you notice I stopped halfway through with the shoulder. It's because I felt a little bit of of a pain here, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna push it. I'm gonna do my physio. I'm gonna rehabilitate this shoulder. I'm not gonna push it right now, and I'm gonna be back stronger, bigger, and better. Just not right now. Okay, so having done this, we really just wanna maybe throw in another back exercise or something, but generally we are done. Okay, so if you only have the time that it took you to do this exercise, yeah, you're good. You can just stop here, stretch a little bit, and kind of pat yourself on on the shoulder because you've done it. Okay, so prone flight. So we're gonna just do this one exercise. It's not a must. I do like it because I feel that a lot of people sort of neglect their upper back when they're working their shoulders. So they're just working whatever it is that you see in the mirror and are not really working everything that they should be, which includes the zone from here to here, sort of your upper back. So we're gonna do a prone flight. It's a super easy exercise. You lie on your stomach, you set your timer for 30 seconds, and there you go. Fly. So your arms actually, the level of your arms actually sets how difficult it's going to be. So if you want it to be super difficult, you grab a cat and you put it on your back, and the added weight makes the exercise much more difficult. Okay, now seriously though, here is easy, intermediate, hard. Just try it. Try it. You don't have to trust me. And dismiss. You can do that last exercise with weights if you didn't feel it, or you can throw in another repetition of 30 seconds. Okay, so we are done doing the strength exercises. We're going to stretch a little bit. I'm going to show you the stretches. I'm not going to do them because I don't really want to do them right now. So the first stretch would be horizontal adduction. You want to grab your arm, keep it straight, take it across your chest. Now you want to lower this shoulder while pulling this arm towards you. Very good. Make sure you're not rotating your chest, you're not lifting, and you're not bending. So a lot of people do this. Doesn't really do anything for you. No, you want to extend this arm, lower the shoulder, and really feel the stretch here. Okay, you want to do this on both arms. Give it approximately 30 seconds for every arm. Now we're going to do the chest. So for the chest, you really want to be holding on with your forearms to something that you can push against. For example, you want to be doing this against the wall or against the door. So I'm going to take my forearm, push against the door, and rotate my chest. So I'm putting my weight against the door and then rotating as if I want to be speaking to someone that's standing behind me. And if I don't feel a stretch here, I'm going to just pull my hand up a little bit or sink my pelvis a little bit. Turn around. Good. Now, feel this stretch. If it hurts the front of your shoulder, you're not actually doing it right. So reorganize, try again, and don't stay. Good. Now you do the other side, and I'm not going to do the other side because this shoulder doesn't like it. Okay, and the next exercise that we're going to do is based on the chest stretch. So from here, we turn our body towards the surface that we are stretching on. Lift your hand up and take your ass a little further away from the wall. And now you want to feel as if you're trying to drag that arm downwards. Of course, don't actually let it move. hold on to the door and just pull downwards. Good. Now the sensation you want to have is one of stretching in your armpit. What does that actually mean? So you see this armpit has two sides to it, the inner muscle wall and the outer muscle wall. So you want to have a feeling that you're stretching this or both, but you do not want to have a pain sensation here. Okay? Good. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. It's a very good workout if you have the right resistance, if you have heavy weights or a bottle of water or a resistance band or a towel. You can do most of these exercises. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post them or to contact me in any other way. And I'm here for you. I love you. Train without a binder if you can stomach it. And let me know if you used the workout and enjoyed it. All right. Peace out.